Hello everyone! Welcome to the Story Box, where you can find stories from all around the world. My name's Z, and I'm so excited that you're here today. I've got something to tell you guys. Yesterday, I went to the beach with my family. It was so much fun, but later, my mom and dad said we had to leave soon because the tide was coming in. But I didn't want to go. I was having so much fun. Did you ever have to leave the beach because the tide was coming in? Have you ever wondered why that happens? Well, today I've got an Ananse story for you that tells you all about why the tide ebbs and flows. I hope you're ready to hear it. Ananse and the Hole in the Sea. Long, long ago, long before you and I ever existed, when the world was still new, there lived our good friend Ananse. Ananse lived in the forest with the rest of the animals, where he had plenty of food to eat and plenty to drink. But Ananse wasn't happy, because he had no huts to live in. And when the wind blew, he was cold. And when the sun shone, he was hot, and when it rained, he was soaked from head to toe. So one day, our good friend Ananse got tired of all of this, and he called out to the great spirits of the sky, to whom all things belong, to ask for a hut. "Oh, great sky spirits, please give me a hut, so I can have shelter from the weather." But the great sky spirits told Ananse, "Not today, Ananse. Perhaps tomorrow." But for many days after that, the great sky spirits still hadn't given Ananse a hut. And Ananse was tired of waiting, so he asked the great sky spirits, "Oh, great sky spirits, please, I cannot wait any longer. Let me have a rock to shelter me from the weather." And the sky spirits replied, "Very well, Ananse, you may take one." This made Ananse very happy, because he knew exactly which rock he wanted to take. So Ananse got into his canoe and rowed along the great ocean. He rowed and rowed along the great sea. Soon he saw Kingfisher, who called out to him, "Ananse, Ananse, listen to me. You are rowing too close to the hole in the sea." "Oh yes," said Ananse. "That is exactly where I want to go." So Ananse rowed and rowed some more. And soon he saw a little silver fish swimming nearby. "Ananse, Ananse, listen to me. You are much too close to the hole in the sea." "Oh, very good," said Ananse. "Then I am rowing in the right direction." So on he rowed until he reached the center of the sea, where the water is clear and the waves are quiet and still. He looked down into the water and saw a rock, more beautiful than any he had ever seen before. It was big and smooth, and it glittered with all the colors of the... "Yes," said Ananse, "this is the rock I want." And he reached down to take it. But at that very moment, the sky spirits called down to him from the clouds, "Ananse, Ananse, listen to me. Do not take that rock from the hole in the sea." But stubborn Ananse replied, "But I need the rock." And he reached down to take it. The sky spirits called to him again, "Ananse, Ananse, did you not hear me? Do not take the rock from the hole in the sea." "But I want it," said Ananse, and he bent down lower and lower. Then the sky spirits called out again, "Ananse, Ananse, you are not listening to me. Don't you dare take that rock from the hole in the sea." "But you said I could have it," Ananse replied. And he pulled and pulled until the rock popped out of the ocean floor. Now, with the rock gone, the water began to pour into the bottomless hole in the middle of the sea. And then there were great circles in the water that spun round and round, spinning and turning all the creatures in the sea. Around and around they went, and the circles spun Ananse too. "Put it back!" cried all the creatures of the air. "No, I won't," Ananse replied. "Put it back!" cried all the creatures of the sea. "No!" Ananse yelled. "Put it back!" roared the angry sky spirits from above. "No, it's mine now!" Ananse replied. Then the sky spirit said, "Put it back, Ananse, and I will let you have it twice a day to give you shelter from the weather." Ananse thought about this for a little while. Then he looked at all the creatures spinning in circles in the water. Then he made his decision. Ever so slowly, he bent down and put the rock back in the sea. And the water stopped turning, and the sea began to fill up again. And all the creatures cried for joy. "Thank you, Ananse, thank you!" Ananse smiled and rode back home. But he never forgot the promise that the sky spirit made him. He goes for the rock twice each day. And when he takes the rock away, the water goes down, down, down into the sea. And we call that low tide. And when he puts the rock back, the ocean rises and fills up again. And we call that high tide. And when there are high and low tides, we say that the tides ebb and flow. And that's why the tides ebb and flow. And that was the story of Ananse and the hole in the sea. Can you believe that, stubborn spider? Well, he finally got what he wanted. And now you know why the tides ebb and flow. I hope you liked the story. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And don't forget to click the subscribe button so we can keep bringing you more stories from all around the world. Until next time, bye!